Hi everyone, this is Dr. Jenine, and this is the second video that I'm doing today because I've had them both on my heart and I wanted to make sure that I got both of them out today. So if you're watching me back to back, you'll notice I haven't changed my clothes. Honestly, I do change my clothes. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my hypnosis journey. The very first time I had hypnosis done, why I believe in it so much, and I believe in its ability to transform. Our subconscious mind will drive our lives if we're not willing to reprogram the subconscious mind. It's like the operating system that's working behind the scenes in our lives. And it'll drive our life. It'll drive what we're attracting into our life, because we reap what we sow. We attract who we are. We attract according to our wounds. We attract according to our fears. And that's where I'm going to get to my hypnosis story. The very first time I had hypnosis, I had to go through a very difficult proceeding that involved someone that I had a lot of fear with or about. And it was a very difficult time in my life anyway. This was actually quite a long time ago. And somebody was recommended by someone in my church. And I was a little bit reluctant and hesitant because I didn't know a whole lot about it. And yet I felt desperate enough and fearful enough that I really was willing to try it. And I think I came to a point where I was suggestive enough. Some of us are just more suggestive in the beginning than others, but I had gone through certain meditative things and some pre-recorded things that I kind of listened to, and I thought, oh, okay. But I really didn't have a direct reason for going through a hypnosis session. So I went to see this person who was highly recommended, and I'm glad that I did. She was a very kind person. I didn't know her until then. I just knew that she belonged to the church that I was attending at the time, and I happened to see her in passing. I had no idea what she did, but I was introduced to her by another friend of mine, and when I learned that she did hypnosis, I was really willing to give it a try. So I found it to be very relaxing, and it always is. She was extremely relaxing, very dedicated to what she did, and also did some other things as well. But I had this fear, and my fear was about a person. And confronting that person, I think, was probably one of the hardest things I can think of doing, because when you interact with someone over a period of time, there are so many elements about that relationship and interaction that it kind of becomes like a snowball. It's coming down the hill and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of my wounds and my difficulties and my concerns, everything, my fears, were compounded inside of me. The outside of me was taking care of my family, but the inside of me was a mess. The outside of me was happy and saying I was fine, but the inside of me was a mess. And my subconscious mind was driving me through what I was about to face, and it had to do with actually being a very strong person and making a very definitive lifestyle change. Meaning I was going to become a single mother of 5 children. And I had a lot of fears surrounding that. So I went through this hypnosis session with her, and it lasted maybe about an hour. And it worked very, very quickly for me. Like I said, I was very suggestive. And my fears were very great. She interviewed me first. She found out what the situation was. She walked me through a very beautiful hypnosis session. It was very relaxing. I was sitting on a couch in her living room. There was no sterile office situation. I didn't feel any fear whatsoever. I was very relaxed. I did not fall asleep. I did remember quite a bit of what she said, although you often don't. But my mind started to go at the same time. And some of the things that she said, I knew I heard her voice, but I didn't exactly hear her. My subconscious mind was receiving what she was planting into me. And because I'm very visual and I'm very auditory in my spiritual gifts, I was having visions and I was receiving messages. And maybe she picked up on that, I don't know, but she asked me afterward, what is it that you've been receiving? So maybe she had some spiritual gifts and some intuition into that as well. But I saw the person that I felt fear about as a tiny little mouse. And I saw myself as a cat. And I was pouncing this mouse. I was overpowering, pouncing this mouse, and I was not afraid of any of it. And it had nothing really to do per se of what I was about to go through, but it had everything to do with what I was going through on the inside. The fear, all of that, the anticipation, the expectation, the anxiety that came with that, the doubts, everything was going to happen the very next day, and I was going to need to be collected, basically collected. And I didn't feel collected. After the session, after being very relaxed, especially after talking about it, it really solidified what I was envisioning. This person was a tiny little mouse. I was a big person, a cat, actually. I was bigger. It was like David and Goliath. Honestly, I had this Goliath of a problem that I was having to face. And I was David, like in the story of the Bible. Same principle. Well, I got to the very next day and I went through the process and the proceeding. And it went through, I couldn't even think of a better outcome for me. It's something that was the beginning of many outcomes, but I couldn't have thought of a better way or a stronger way of starting. I was so relaxed. I was so confident. There was no anxiety going on. My hands, my palms weren't sweating. I was quiet. I only responded when I needed to. I did not react, because when we react, we are spurred by something that is touching our fear or our wounds, and it bypasses our logic and what we would want to say or how we would want something to come out. When we react, it's just a spontaneous thing that kind of comes from our subconscious mind. And I found it so amazing afterwards. And the person that I was with, she was a defense attorney. She was actually, I was not the defender. I was the petitioner in the litigation, but she was my helping attorney. She was not, but in a way she was my defender. But she asked me, she's like, what changed? What's different about you today? You look great today. And I told her I had hypnosis the night before, and it changed absolutely everything. I was that suggestive. Now, for a lot of people, it takes several times. And I continued after that to feed myself with hypnotic suggestions, because I found that throughout my life, there were many times I had to come up against fear and fearful situations that the root was causing me to react instead of act. And I wanted to change some of those things. Now, I still catch myself in reaction instead of acting, but it just means that I need to continue on with my journey. I do. When I expanded myself in spirituality, I went through actually a hypnosis program that was to bump up some of my spiritual gifts. I'm sorry, I got something caught in my throat. Excuse me. It was to bump up some of my spiritual gifts. And I listened to this every single day, almost the same time, because it was a time that I knew that I could be alone and that I could just relax. If I fell asleep, it would be okay. Sometimes we fall asleep. Sometimes we don't. I didn't fall asleep the first time. So I listened to this over and over, and I listened to it every day to the point where I would actually hear it in my sleep. It was a woman's voice. I would hear the woman's voice. I would hear the suggestions. The subconscious mind was working in my sleep state. It was reprogramming and continuing to work as I was sleeping. And I would wake up and I would respond the way that I was supposed to respond. I would act the way that I knew I could act. I received my spiritual gift. I received and saw synchronicities that spoke to me really loud and clear about what my spiritual gifts are, and to be confident about those things, not to worry about what other people said, to go ahead and be who I am. And for a long period of time, I was so successful at doing that. And then some other things interrupted my life, and that's a whole other story. But my point is that repetitive subconscious training, repetitive renewal of the mind will change your life. It'll change what you believe, if that's what you want to change. It'll change some of your wounds. It'll bring some clarity to some of what your wounds are. It will bring synchronicities and make you more aware of synchronicities in your life. In other words, you will begin to identify things in your life that have to do with what you want to change or what you're going through. So it's the same analogy that I use of the car, certain car that I really wanted to focus on, and then I would see that car everywhere. When you focus on a specific thing, especially when you got your subconscious mind and it's programmed that way, you're going to see that thing everywhere. And I'm telling you, you'll start to see your world shift, and there will be signs everywhere, signs and wonders. And honestly, I think it's a miracle. It is. Now, let me just explain what hypnosis is and what it isn't. It's just that. It is a reprogramming of the subconscious mind. And because of the reprogramming of your subconscious mind, it will actually help drive your life in a different direction by attracting different situations into your life. You will become an attractor magnet for other things besides your wounds. It'll help you point out your wounds. It'll bring illumination to your life. You might go into a sleep state. Some people go into deep hypnosis, and they'll actually go into a sleep state. But hypnosis generally is not sleep. It isn't. Although it works when you're sleeping. That's why when we listen to the automated hypnosis things that you find on YouTube, we often fall asleep. Hypnosis will be boring. And if it's done right, it will be boring. It'll be soothing. It'll be relaxing. It'll be somewhat boring. Sometimes you'll think nothing happened, but then you'll see that something did. When you're dedicated to the journey, you'll definitely see something did happen. Something occurred. Something was revealed to you. So a lot of people just go into what is maybe the second stage of consciousness, and it's like you almost feel like you're awake. You feel like you are listening and hearing everything. Most of us don't. You know, we think we do, but we don't. But even if we do remember what a hypnotherapist says to us, it's fine. If we don't remember any of it, it's fine. If we remember all of it, it's fine. It doesn't mean it didn't work. It works just the same. The same way I am affirmations will work for you if that works for you. As long as you're accountable and you're dedicated to doing it, you will actually reprogram your subconscious mind that way as well. But honestly, I think that hypnosis is the most relaxing and it's the most dedicated and quickest way to do it. Let me give you another example. When one of my sons was going to school, he could never get up to go to school on time. The alarm would go off, he wouldn't get up. I'd try to remind him, he wouldn't get up. He would always be late. Then he'd have to rush. And then sometimes he'd be late for school. So I actually was newly trained in hypnosis, and this was quite a long time ago. I'm talking about a son who's now 30 years old. So, excuse me. I've been talking a lot today. This is my second video, so I'm sorry. I offered him hypnosis, and I was very actually new at it. And one of the hypnosis techniques that I used was a pocket watch, a gold pocket watch. I still have it. It was quite some time ago. When I think about it, I laugh. But it does work. That method does work. But that's the first method that I was taught. And I went through the hypnosis script. I went ahead and did the pocket watch. You know, it's like you're going to close your eyes. You're getting very sleepy. And he didn't go to sleep, of course, because we don't always just go to sleep. It's not a sleep state per se. And I put in the hypnotic suggestion that he was going to wake up on time. In fact, possibly earlier. That he was going to be on time for school and that it would never be a problem again. And afterwards, and I brought him out, I asked him, how do you feel? He said, I don't know. I don't think I felt anything. I don't think anything worked. That was great. Okay, bye. But you want to know something? The very next day, the very next morning, he woke up 10 minutes before his alarm went off. He said, Mom, I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. I got right up, I took a shower, I got ready. I was at school on time. I just laughed. And then it didn't stop there. He woke up on time every single day. He did. Now, in order to reinforce this, if you start to go off into left field again, you should have hypnosis again. But this is just an example. Some people don't think anything happened. And then they realize, aha moment. Something did actually change. And it changed for the better, and the desired outcome was obtained. So you see, he didn't go to sleep. He didn't even think it worked. You don't even have to believe in hypnosis for it to work. It just works. So I'm telling you all of this because there are so many misnomers and misunderstandings about what hypnosis is and what it isn't, and whether it's going to interfere with your life in some way. The person that is your hypnotherapist cannot give you a suggestion that is going to make you do something that you don't want to do. It will not cross your moral values, your virtues, something that you value, or your faith, in your understanding of your faith. It won't change any of those things in your life that are part of your morality or something that you don't want to accept. So those circus act hypnotherapists that you see that make people cluck like a chicken or act like a duck, I mean, they're very entertaining, but that's not what hypnosis is. You can never ever do anything that you don't really accept. So you can be in actually a very deep state of hypnosis, and if I give you a suggestion that just passes your moral compass, it goes against everything that you are in morality, it won't change any part of you. You won't accept anything that is a standard part of your personality, but it will change the things that you desire to change. So it's actually a miracle the way this works. It's so amazing. You determine what you want. You're still in the driver's seat, even though you've got somebody who is giving you the directions. So if they tell you to turn left and you don't want to go left, that you want to go right, you'll still go right. But if there's something that you desire and you want to turn left very, very much, but you're having a hard time getting your car to drive that way, when a hypnotherapist tells you and gives you the suggestion to turn left, you will. So how simple can this be? It gives you exactly what you want. And because of it, if what you want are left turns everywhere in life, you're going to attract those left turns. All those opportunities to make the left turns are going to be there. And I know that's kind of a strange way to put it. It's just what came to me. So I hope this answers some questions. It's very, very safe. Extremely safe. It's probably the most safe thing that you could possibly do. Find someone who is credible. Find someone who is dedicated. If you want someone to do sessions for you, find someone who's willing to draw out what the root is that you're trying to get out of your life and change. If you're willing to change it, you will. If you're willing, you will. Keep that in your mind. Let that be a suggestion. If you're willing, you will. Find someone who will hold you accountable, but be willing to have that person hold you accountable. Don't get offended if they try to hold you accountable, okay? If you want that, then you can have that. You can even be hypnotized to be accountable, and you will be accountable to yourself. Find someone who's willing to make and create a very dedicated hypnosis session as a recording that you can listen to regularly after you're done with maybe 6 sessions that are live. And once you listen to that every single day or every single night, do it before your sleep state, I guarantee you, your life will start to change. Look for it to change. Hypnosis is amazing. I believe in it as much as I believe in meditation is relaxing and can also be very transforming as well. So I do both of those things. I teach meditation, I do guided meditation, I do hypnotherapy. I think it's amazing, amazing. It will absolutely change your life. I guarantee it. And I don't put my guarantee on everything, and I don't do it lightly. So I have to have the experience before I will tell people what my experience is and that I believe in it. So I hope that you have found this informative. If you have any questions, you can always call me for an hour free session at 832-484-8306 just to get to what some of your concerns are, and then we can schedule a session for you. I can do them by phone. I don't often do them in person right now because of some of the COVID issues that we have, but I want people to be comfortable and relaxed, and quite often people are very relaxed within their own home and they feel like they can be who they are and not worry if they start to fall asleep and snore. That's fine. All of that's fine because it's all good and it's good for you, and it'll help cut off some of the bad roots down beneath in your foundation and help you grow some beautiful new ones by driving you maybe in a different direction. Maybe some unexpected things will happen and they'll be for the good. That's my hope and my prayer for you. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of the day. Know that I am loving you from here, and I hope to talk to you real soon.